What up, Niner gang? Welcome into the 49ers Report right here on Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Sr. Hit me up to talk Niners at Chase_Senior on both Twitter and Instagram. Coming up on today's show, we're going to put Trey Lance's preseason play in context. I'm going to explain why I think even though he's raw, he has the ability to start and win games for you in week one. Then we'll do a little 49ers versus Raiders preview because it's a battle of the Bay on Sunday night in Santa Clara. First, let's get to Trey Lance. Now, when people have watched Trey Lance, he's certainly been up and down in 2 preseason games. I think the good and the great has outweighed the bad, but there are so many haters out there who will say this: Trey Lance isn't ready to play as the starting quarterback for this franchise. Trey Lance is inaccurate. He's thrown a bunch of interceptable passes because I go #analytics on you and I look at some of the numbers that Pro Football Focus has thrown out there. I combat that with Trey Lance's ability is just straight up stupid. The haters will also say that Trey Lance has held on to the ball too long. He's taken too many sacks, and Kyle Shanahan needs to sit him. He cannot start in week one. Go with Jimmy Garoppolo because he's the experienced quarterback, and we have Super Bowl aspirations. The real ones know, though, that Trey Lance has flashed a boatload of potential in 2 preseason games. And while he is raw, we knew that coming in when the Niners drafted him at number 3. He was 20 years old when he got selected number 3. He played 1 game last year in a COVID-shortened season with North Dakota State. He only attempted a little more than 300 passes in the college ranks at the FCS level. So we knew that he was going to have to refine his skills. But if you watch Trey Lance, you know this through 2 preseason games so far. The arm strength is Mahomes-like. He can make every throw on the field. The physical tools are stupid. 6'3", 6'4", 220 pounds, and he runs around a 4.5 40. He's elusive, has escapability, but he doesn't look to run right away when the pocket breaks down. He still keeps his eyes downfield looking for his receiver targets. And also, I know his completion percentage is so far under 50%. 7 drops so far in 2 preseason games. So his receivers haven't helped him out at all. And he has been making plays and has the ability to make plays because of his athletic prowess that Jimmy Garoppolo simply can't. You go back to that first preseason game when Trey Lance rolls left, throws across the field, 80-yard touchdown to Trent Sherfield. Jimmy Garoppolo is throwing a dead duck. He's not throwing that ball as a dime. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't letting it rip in between the sticks or out toward the sideline. Trey Lance is. And that big boy drive before the half last week against the Chargers, 75 yards and a touchdown in less than a minute, that was a big boy drive and a big boy recovery from Trey Lance after he started the game really slow and really choppy. I understand that Trey Lance is raw, but I think Trey Lance can start week one, and I think that the Niners won't really take a step back with Trey Lance being the starter, even though he is raw, because the supporting cast around him is elite in my opinion. He has one of the best offensive minds as a head coach in Kyle Shanahan. And even though he might need to be a little bit more refined, he can get away with a lot because of his arm strength, because of his legs, and you don't have to put a bunch of stuff on his plate because the supporting cast is so legit. So who do you think is going to be the week 1 starter? I still think it's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo, but Kyle Shanahan has not classified who is going to be the starter. Type JG for Jimmy G, type TL for Trey Lance. Get those votes in the comment section right now. You take a look at the raw numbers for Trey Lance through those 2 preseason games, first against the Chiefs and then against the Chargers. We combined the statistics to put it into this graphic here. 13 of 28, 46% completion percentage, 3 touchdowns to a pick, but also he's been plagued by 7 drops. And yes, the wide receivers have to get used to the velocity behind his ball, which is a lot faster than the velocity from the throws of Jimmy Garoppolo, but those are catches that premium wide receivers like Mohamed Sanu, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk have to make, and I expect guys like George Kittle to bring in those balls as well. If you add those drops to Trey Lance's stat line and you take them away, the completion percentage then skyrockets up to 71%. And it's my belief that those 7 drops should have been caught So if you add that to his stat line, Trey Lance's stats through the first 2 preseason games, looking pretty damn good at 20 of 28, 71% without those drops. What did Kyle Shanahan think about the jump from the preseason opener to the second game against LA? Here's what he had to say about his prized possession at the quarterback spot in Trey Lance. I just like how he responded throughout it. Trey hasn't played a lot of football in the last year or so. I think he's thrown 1 interception since high school. To watch him go out there and throw a pick, to have a couple of close ones, those are some things that he isn't used to. And I know it got him down pretty bad, but to watch him go out there and recover was nice for me to see, because I haven't seen him have to play through much stuff like that watching all of his college tape. I'm going to go ahead and give Trey Lance a solid B for what he's done in the preseason thus far. He's expected to get extended action against the hated Raiders on Sunday night. Let me know what you think about Trey Lance's performance so far in the preseason. Grade it for me, A, B, C, D, or F. Preseason, it's almost done. Preseason week 3. It's going to be a really good rivalry game as we turn the clocks back a little bit. Niners hosting the Raiders on Sunday night. Kickoff 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. We're going to be doing another watch party right here on the channel. Niners going into this game 3.5-point favorites. They were able to cover against the Chargers last week. Over-under set at 35.5. And before we do a little bit of a 49ers-Raiders preview, how about you predict the score for Sunday night's game? I understand sometimes it's hard to do these things in the preseason, but have fun with it. Predict the score of Sunday's game between the Niners and the Raiders. Maybe you want to bet on this game on Sunday night. I might, because I'm somewhat of a betting degenerate. I just like betting on football games. And our sportsbook partner, BetUS, has one of the greatest deals in the history of sports betting available for you right now. If you go to chatsports.com/49bet and you enter the promo code Niners125, you get a 125% deposit bonus, meaning if you deposit $100 in your account, you get $225 back. But here's the deal. You have to use that link at the bottom of your screen as well as that promo code for that deal to apply. I know a lot of teams across the NFL handle preseason a little bit differently. Some organizations, some head coaches and general managers have not played basically any of their starters throughout the preseason. Kyle Shanahan has basically gone the complete opposite direction, and he's going to continue going in that direction with the final preseason game, which he has called the dress rehearsal against the Raiders on Sunday night, saying a lot of the starters are going to suit up and play. So without further ado, let's do a little Raiders 49ers preseason preview. I'm keeping my eye on a couple of position battles. The biggest one that has yet to be decided is the wide receiver battle. I'm not sure if Kyle Shanahan is going to keep 5 players at the wide receiver spot on the 53-man roster, or maybe 6. I think it could be 5, but let's pinpoint it in there as 5 or 6. There are already guys who are locks, in my opinion, and Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Trent Sherfield, and Mohamed Sanu. Those are 4. So we have 1 or 2 players remaining to battle it out for those 5 and 6 spots. N'Simba Webster, Jawan Jennings, Richie James, as well as Travis Benjamin, who brought in that touchdown pass from Trey Lance. I'm really keeping my eye on the wide receiver battle on Sunday night because N'Simba Webster has flashed at times. So too has Jawan Jennings. Richie James has a drop issue, but gives you a lot on special teams. And then Travis Benjamin, somewhat of a journeyman at the wide receiver spot. But do you value that experience? Can't wait to see how things shake out there. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, going to be a really difficult decision to make as far as who and which wide receiver is cut. So predict it for me. Which receiver is going to be on the outside looking in when they make those final roster cutdowns to the 53-man roster? Get those names in the comment section down below. How about the young bulls in the secondary? The 49ers, I think, really killed it in the draft, especially in the 5th round. But they also did a good job selecting some long-term young pieces in the secondary who I think are going to be able to contribute under DeMeco Ryans for a few years to come. Talanoa Hufanga, he can play safety. He can play a little DB, play a little linebacker. He streaks down the field as a gunner on special teams. He can make plays and bring you value there. Ambry Thomas, I think, has a lot of upside as a cornerback, but a little bit rusty because he didn't play last year because of COVID. Deommodore Lenoir, though, out of Oregon, has been balling out. And we have some interesting numbers that we'll get to here in just a second on Lenoir. But first, Talanoa Hufanga. Didn't test crazy during his pro day, during the pre-draft process. He runs about a 4.6 40. But Talanoa Hufanga is a menace, man. He's just a footballer and a dog. And I love his positional versatility because he can play safety, as I mentioned, play a little DB, play a little linebacker, but also plays special teams as well and enjoys playing in that role. And he's already getting first-team defensive snaps at safety. I think you could see him a lot in Week 1 against the Lions. As for Lenoir, looking more and more like he's going to be a steal in the 5th round out of Oregon. He's been stellar so far when targeted. Only given up 1 reception. I know some databases have no receptions when he's gotten targeted. We have 1 on 6 targets, which is really good. He's already picked off 1 pass and 1 pass breakup. Lenoir, I know the play that he made against Austin Watkins during rookie minicamps really went wild on social media, causing Deion Sanders, maybe the best cornerback of all time, to quote tweet the video and say, hey, Lenoir's legit. I think he's legit too. But who do you think has been the most impressive young bull in the secondary of the 3? Deommodore Lenoir, Talanoa Hufanga, Ambry Thomas. Type DL for Lenoir, TH for Hufanga, AT for Ambry Thomas. Get those votes in right now. Hey, be sure to get yourself a box or a few boxes of Magic Spoon cereal by going to magicspoon.com/49ers report. And when you plug in that link, you get $5 off your purchase. These flavors, straight up killer. My personal favorite was peanut butter, but I'll tell you this, fruity has certainly been climbing up my power rankings, but they have a lot of really good flavors. Cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter. Sometimes they trot out special flavors that come out certain times of the year. But what's great about Magic Spoon cereal, it's actually good for you, and they use quality ingredients, unlike all of those traditional brands out there. Per serving, you get 13 to 14 grams of protein, 4 grams of net carbs, 0 grams of sugar. So if you want to cut out the unhealthy cereal of your diet and go with a healthier brand, hop on the Magic Spoon train, man, and get $5 off at magicspoon.com/49ers report. That link is in the live chat right now, but also in the description of this video if you're watching after the fact. Few players to keep an eye on Sunday night. Trent Williams, he's going to play for the first time this preseason, slated to start against the Raiders, has not played at all, as I mentioned, and he's been held out of practice over the last week and change because of some knee soreness. But Kyle Shanahan said on Monday that the plan is for Trent Williams to play. That's a good sign with that knee soreness. It tells me it's not all that serious, and he's a prized possession, highest paid left tackle in the game. Jimmy Garoppolo has to prove himself because he hasn't been good in the preseason, and he's had limited opportunities to really prove himself and distance himself from Trey Lance, who's breathing right down his neck for the QB1 spot. Kyle Shanahan has not yet named a starter. When is he going to? I think this could last up until the season opener against the Lions. He's only played 2 drives so far in the preseason, so the pressure is on him a little bit, and I think Jimmy G has sensed that pressure to a certain degree, and that's why he's looked indecisive, a little bit inaccurate. I'm not making too much out of his playoff performances and misfortunes, only 6 of 9, 41 yards, threw a pick that glanced off the hands of Brandon Ayuk. I don't put that on Jimmy G, a quarterback rating of only 37, but again, in training camp practices and in the preseason, he has done nothing to really set himself apart from Trey Lance, something to monitor in this final preseason game. Do you think Jimmy G should be worried about his standing as the starting quarterback? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Get those votes in the comment section. I know this is a passionate debate within the Niner gang, so let me know what you're feeling on this one. Once again, preseason week 3, it all wraps up Sunday night, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific from Santa Clara. Battle of the Bay. Las Vegas Raiders, man, they're frauds because they left the Bay Area to go to the lavish confines of Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. So let's show Raider Nation that the Niner gang, we still rule the Bay. Niners 3.5-point favorites. Let's pick up that dub.